Assalamualaikum and good evening to our beloved lecturer, Dr. Rahani. Let me introduce our Group 3 members, myself, Tuan Hayati, Ms. Nurul Aisyah, Mr. Hamizi and Mr. Anwar Ridwan. Today our group choose this topic for our group presentation. 5 effective growth strategies for entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurship numbers spiked to the highest level in more than a decade during the Great Recession, according to a study from the Kaufman Foundation, with an average of 340 out of every 100,000 adults starting their own business each month in 2009. That's 27,000 more startups per month than the year before and 60,000 more than in 2007. Now that we are a few years removed from the official end of the downturn and have witnessed the modest recovery, it goes to figure that many of these recession-era entrepreneurs are looking to take their companies to the next level. However, two things are clear. Growth can be scary, and you have got the chops, having nursed a fledgling business through one of the worst recessions in the world history. The following are 5 most effective growth strategies for entrepreneurs. Number 1, hire people you trust and delegate strategically. Your company is like your baby. After spending countless hours raising it, with your hand in every aspect of the company's operation, letting go even a little bit was very difficult. However, much like a parent knows that sending their child off to college while hard is the best thing for them, I knew that no matter how hard I work, I couldn't do everything and build the company in the manner I envisioned. The thing is, delegating responsibility isn't necessarily as simple as hiring someone off the street and giving them a bunch of tasks to complete. Effective delegation requires an intimate knowledge of oneself. You must understand your own strengths, weaknesses, and preferences in order to identify where additional manpower is needed, as well as what type of people to hire. Ideally, your employees' personalities should match well with your own, since you are going to spend countless hours working together. After all, and their strengths should complement your weaknesses. Once you get the right personnel in place, all that will be left to do is train them and avoid micromanagement. I personally feel that intensive, hands-on.
Okay, thank you Tuan Hayati. Okay, strategies number 2 is be careful with raising money. This is a lesson that every entrepreneur must learn in order to survive. Raising capital is not the goal. Building a fundamentally sound company that is successful in the long term is the true objective. And in order to meet it, you must think long and hard about your funding needs before accepting money from a professional investor or leveraging expensive loans and lines of credit. Rashly jumping at financing opportunities can lead to all sorts of unintended consequences after all. For example, why the deep pockets and connections that venture capitalists bring to the table can be extremely alluring. Getting into bed with them necessitates ceding significant control and equity and is a major managerial distraction. Similarly, statistics have shown that for every $1,000 in credit card that a company incurs during its first year, the odds of its survival fall by more than 2%. Using a business credit card for funding purpose can also rob you of that stability, as issuers are able to raise rates on existing balance whenever they want. Besides, having just the right amount of capital can actually be a growth strategy in and of itself, as it forces you to become more efficient and maximize every dollar, habits that can pay huge dividends once you become profitable. Thank you. Next point will be presented by my colleague, Mr. Hamizi.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Hamizi bin Ismail. Strategies number 3 for effective growth strategy for entrepreneur is market penetration and development. Since you establish a good product and solid customer base, expanding into adjacent market and figuring out how to mechanism profit from existing customer are natural next step that come with relative low risk, yet have the potential to provide significant growth. The way in which you approach this type of expansion and when you do it will depend on your industry as well as the amount of capital required. The amount of market research and business planning that is required to expand in this manner is inversely proportional to how easy it is to test your way into the market. If testing is easy, do not waste time trying to perfect every minor detail, as market responses will provided all the feedback you need. However, if you are in an industry where market maneuvering is difficult and costly, you all need ample cash on hand withstand unexpected challenges and market burgeoning. Thank you. Next point will be presented by my colleague, Mr. Anwar. Thank you.
Okay. While young companies typically don't have the capital needed to buy out the competition or purchase key goods in their supply chain, you can use strategic partnerships with higher profile business in order to build brand awareness and stature in the industry. Then, as your company matures and either reaps profits or goes through another round of financing, you may be able to make acquisitions in order to bring your business into a new space or reduce costs in the long term. Lastly, strategy number 5 is don't get comfortable. The best companies don't get comfortable. They continually look for ways to improve their product, become more efficient, and increase customer satisfaction. Just look at the likes of Apple, Facebook, and even the NFL. All have extremely popular products, yet they continue to take risks because that is the only way to avoid becoming obsolete. This also means that you must not be afraid to sacrifice profitability. Now, in return for a bigger payoff down the road, truly taking the next step with a startup often requires diving back into the red in a big way. Just make sure to dive deep enough that you avoid winding up in no man's land. At the end of the day, growing a business is equal parts art and science. Analytics, market research, and past examples from the corporate world can give you ideas about the best ways to expand, but you have to come up with the right recipe for your particular company and appetite for risk. Thank you from all of us in Group 3, Tuan Hayati, Hamizi Anwar Ridwan, and myself, Nura Aisyah.